Hi, Kat. Can you hear me? Kat, can you hear me? Deb, you there? Okay, Kat and Deb, if you can hear me, I'll just open up the first screen. And what we're just going to go through is the the first 18 slides, which is the introduction to Fiteracy. So you and I and the childcare centres have got the same understanding of what the broader picture of Fiteracy is. And then we'll go through the next few slides. So I'm hoping to finish like in 45 minutes or so you can get back to your families. I can't hear you for some reason, but you can hear me. If you can't see me, Kat, it's just because I have taken the camera off, so I'll put it on for a minute. Can you see me now, Kat? Can you see me, Kat? Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off because I'm going to pull over the presentation. So what we're going to do is I just want to present this presentation to you. So when I ring Rowena tomorrow, when you go in there on Monday, you and her and I have all got the same understanding. Once we get to getting used to this webinar type system, I'm going to invite Dad in on the webinars so he can start teaching you regularly more about how to evaluate the activities that you're delivering, and we can also start to invite Rowena and any of the other childcare workers into some of the live broadcasts, and we can start to create that network between the both of you, Joe, and Tony and some of the others that are going to come on board. So when we're doing some action planning between yourselves, your play group, your own programs, and the childcare centres, we're actually starting to evaluate together and get some strong data between common delivery methods. So if that makes sense, if you can write to me in that side box, because I'm only new to this, so I'm not sure if you can hear me. If you can hear me?
Brody, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't hear Kat. Can you hear me?
Because I can't see the side box, honey.
Oh, you can't see the side box. So
No.
do I? You normally use the side box in yours, don't you?
Yeah.
Is that up now?
No. Hang on a minute. I might just.
I've got currently in room 2 attendees, so it's me and Kat. For some reason, you're not in the side box.
I don't know. Maybe I
Kat's in the side box. So
in again.
I'll just wait till you come in. I'll just find a quick web page to put up for you that I'm going to show you both.
No, maybe I should go out and come back in again. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, you pop out and come back in. Kat's on there, but I can't hear her, but she can hear me, but that's okay.
It's all right. If she can type, that's cool. There is a bit of a delay with the typing. I worked out, for me it's around 30 seconds.
Oh, really? Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, you need to wait. Well, it was for me anyway.
Okay, if you're still there, Deb's just popped out to pop back in because she's not coming up on the sidebar. So I can see your messages coming through, Kat, so at least I can keep those. So if you have any questions, Kat, and I can't hear you, just type them in that little side box, and then I can at least answer them for you later. And we'll just wait for Deb to pop back in. I wonder why you're not popping in there. Do you have a camera on yours, Kat? Oh, I can see you. See Deb. I can see Deb in chat, and now I can't see Kat in chat. Kat, can you hear me? Just message me on Facebook if you can hear me, and we'll work all these things out later so we can get to the we can get to going through the thing. So Deb, Kat, if you can hear me, just send me a message on Facebook again, like you're doing on the phone. I can see Deb coming up on the side. I can see you here. I can see you both now. Okay, can you both hear me? Just type in the chat if you can both hear me. Okay, if you can both hear me, I'm just going to get to the presentation. If you get confused about any of it, just drop me an email or write it in that chat box, and I'll see what I can do. So yeah, sorry that this is just my first time on it too, but I'll have a practice after this, and then we can at least once you see the childcare workers, we can start to invite them in and create a discussion around, even if it's just a discussion around one of the principles. So yeah, the main aim for you on Monday next week is just to introduce them to the principles. Deb's going to pick 2 principles and then get them to discuss strategies around how they sorry, Joe just texted in there as well. So around how they support those principles. So we'll get to that at the end. I won't go through to an hour and a half because I know you both got little kidlets there. So we'll get started. So I'm just going to drag the screen across and start with the first presentation. Yep. Screen share. All right, Kat's messages come through. So you should be able to see on your screen just a Word document, because I'm just jumping between two documents there. Can you just send me a thumbs up in the, if you can see that, so I know that I'm doing this right? So the screen that's come up is just strategies and activities for creating engaged learning environments. That's just an example of how you might be able to talk to the childcares on Monday. So I've just got, I'm not sure if I've blown that up properly, but we'll come back to that. I'm just going to pull the PowerPoint up. Oh, hope that worked. Is that working? I wish I could hear you, Deb. You know how to do this. So that should be the presentation up there now. Because I can't get to the chat room, I don't know if you can see it. So I'm just going to pretend that you can see it and it's up there. So we'll just quickly whip through these ones. So the aims of the professional development modules for Fiteracy. So why you as program developers engage, and why we would like to get some childcare staff engaged, is basically to increase everybody's awareness about the benefits of using the 4 principles of Fiteracy. I'm just listening to Kat come in too. To increase the awareness of the 4 principles of engagement, to assist with the design and delivery of engaging health programs for the whole of family approach to health. So on Monday, don't go into the engagements, the 4 principles of engagement. Only go into the 4 principles of Fiteracy. Kat can only see the desktop. Oh, this is hard. Hang on, Kat, I'll fix it up for you. Oh, you can see it now? Good. All right, I'm going to go back to that again. So it should be up there still now. So yeah, on Monday, only go through the 4 principles. So we're just going to go through that tonight. But have a read through these 18 slides, and the next one, I think there's 30 odd slides, just so you've got an understanding, because they're the sort of things that I will talk to Rowena about. Also, to provide activities and lesson plans that apply the 4 principles of Fiteracy. So basically on Monday, you'll go through increase awareness of the 4 principles of Fiteracy and provide activities that apply the 4 principles of Fiteracy. They're the only 2 areas you really need to get through to the childcare centres. And then you can invite them to join a community of educators and facilitators. Can you see it now? Can you see it yet, Deb? I've just got your message through to say, yep, good. Okay. All right, so we'll just keep moving through so I don't keep flicking through and wasting too much of your time. So if they ask who can become a Fiteracy facilitator, outline your backgrounds as well. So Deb's allied health background, fitness instructors, club coaches, childcare staff, tertiary graduates of a degree, independent businesses like Kat. And the aim is to get all those people with those backgrounds to use Fiteracy as a teaching method designed to create programs that encourage drawing, talking, reading, and writing about health. So the Fiteracy Facilitator courses offer methods for linking existing programs to literacy development ideas and methods for reducing anxiety in learning. So from what the feedback that we're getting from Gail and the rest of the Boys Town crew is the main thing that's coming through Deception Bay is that all your presentations and all your programs are really getting that message through about reduced anxiety in learning. So definitely if that's one of your principles that you talk about on Monday night, that would be really good. And I want you to use your own strategies. So I've got different strategies. We've got joint strategies for reducing anxiety, which is the bench. So that's one place people can go if they're stressed or they need to just watch. The idea of drawing at the beginning to let the kids settle into what the idea is another anxiety reducing activity. So we'll move to the next slide. Anyone that's passionate about health and children and their ability to read can become part of the Fiteracy movement, I guess. So we're just looking for people, even if they are already employed in a childcare centre, who want to become part of our community, because the more we're all using that same method, the more likely it's going to get through to the parents on the ground. So the Fiteracy workshops not only bring you up to speed with the latest current information on children's health programs, but the Fiteracy package will help create their idea into a fun program for children and families, and also to learn about health and books. So as we develop these webinars even together, that'd be where I'd bring someone in like Deb with her latest information in nutrition and children. So we can link these webinars together to get them into childcare centres as well, and link them to learning about nutrition to increase literacy as well. The Fiteracy Facilitator course provides an easy-to-use template system for the development of health programs for a whole-of-family approach to health learning and literacy development. So the templates that you have been using, your lesson planning templates, your take-home lessons, they're kind of the start of our templates. We'll tidy them up a bit before we start to deliver them to childcare centres, and the easier we make them to use, the better. So basically just a lesson plan supporting the 4 principles, plus your take-home sheet showing how they can take those principles and apply them in the home environment. That's probably as in-depth as we need to go with templates. So everything we've been doing to date, we can start scaling down based on your feedback on how to make it even easier for people to apply. Components of the course. So this is what we're going to retouch on for the next 3 months towards the end of this project. You guys are going through module 1 now. We're going to go back through module 2, applying the Fiteracy program to development, risk management, and evaluation and quality control. So I've rewritten all these in conjunction with Dad, also with the latest fundamental motor skills stuff that's just come out through another developer. Your risk management is a lot based on the feedback that you guys give me. And evaluation and quality control is we're now just starting to choose the 2 evaluation methods that we really want to focus on. And one of those is the concepts of print, which is a world, like a research and evaluation document used throughout the world, that's really supported by Dad, and that we can get a little bit more credibility, I think, using, and a bit more spread because they're Dad's colleagues. And also just starting to talk to Kathy Walker, who's the lady that I'll show you on the webpage today, just in the areas of school readiness. So just trying to get her to help us develop a school readiness questionnaire. So I'm showing her what we've developed and then getting her feedback, etc., because she's got one, but we need to get permission to use it. So that's the stage we're at. So we're going to have school readiness questionnaires, concepts of print, and then one in your own area. So Deb would have understanding of nutrition in the family. Kat would have application of art and music. So we'll have one that applies more to your succinct program as well. What is included in the Fiteracy programs? Participants in the workshops have access to over 20 years of experience of program development in the area of child's health and education programs. So that's just not me and Dad, that's people like Deb, who people can start to feed off into the Kids Dig Food webinars as well. So they'll learn more about Kids Dig Food being associated. And hopefully with Deb's permission, we can refer people over to Kids Dig Food. Kat, there's always a possibility of you starting to develop little webinars for people to learn drumming, and so that's an idea to keep in your head as well. And just all the other people that will come on board will start to develop that knowledge together as well. Participants are able to learn new delivery methods while also learning how to mould groups to a variety of age groups. So just like yourselves in the play groups, you're dealing with 0 right through to 5 every day, and not just 0 to 1, and also dealing with parents of all different ages as well. That I'll let you guys just read through all that, but that's a sort of online forms and stuff that I've started to develop. I'm just rebranding with the new Fiteracy logo. So startup forms, introduction letter, registration forms, share drive, online evaluation tools. These are all the things that by the end of June, when we launch outside of the Boys Town project, will all be there. The problem with launching them inside this project at the moment is I've been speaking to Boys Town for the last 3 weeks about data collection based on the fact that these new evidence-based programs like Sing and Grow and everything are going to come into Boys Town. I've asked to put Fiteracy data in to be cleared for evidence base, and because we are funded through Boys Town, they own part of that data. So what I don't want to happen is the not being able to use the data without their permission. So I'm just getting their permission first. If we don't get their permission, which is a bit strange, then all this stuff I'm trying to keep just outside the realm so they don't try and stamp Communities for Children on the intellectual property, which is both yours and mine. So that's the reason I haven't put all that stuff up yet, because we just want to put it up after the contract ends, and then we can all use it without the fear of any intellectual property issues. But that's, it's all good, but it's just part of change and different contracts, and so don't worry too much about that. But that slide there is what will be in that share drive. So we'll clean out that Dropbox and just make it really simple just to access introduction letters, registration forms, flyers, etc. And definitely with your feedback, because you guys know what's working up there. Long-term benefits, monthly online learning. So we'll get more of these webinars going. I can start to invite some of Dad's colleagues in, so we can actually have a half an hour webinar with, one of the leading researchers in literacy. Start to bring in a music teacher for people like Kat to learn a few more opportunities as well. So there's sort of things that will start to run once a month. Linking to social media, online forums, supporting Fiteracy principles. So starting a LinkedIn group that's just on Fiteracy, etc. They're all some of the things that we can start to do. And we can start to bring Rowena's childcare staff in on that, so they're getting more of an opportunity to learn at home rather than us take up their valuable staff time during their staff meetings. So these are the things that I'll talk to Rowena about. So when she goes in there, she has when you guys go in there, Rowena has that big picture in her head as well. Online networking, some of the networking principles I've used down here with allied health. I've got 100 allied health professionals now doing case studies online together, running case management workshops just through Dropbox. And I've tested all that out here with allied health, who have very limited time, and it seems to be working really well. So there's some of the things that once we get more Fiteracy people throughout Australia, we can all come on board. So there are people writing every day to come on board, but I just want to get out of this project first before we do it. So the Fiteracy modules, module 1, what is Fiteracy? So we're going to cover a bit of that tonight, the framework, principles of Fiteracy and the principles of engagement. So you all know that, so we can pretty much fly through that, but it's really just starting to add in websites, videos, other things that you have found too, that we can add in there for other people to view. And we can start to build up a really good library of your own videos we found online that support the Fiteracy facilitation method. So in that module 1, we have the supporting theories and research. So your early education theories, child exercise and nutrition research can go in there. I haven't put nutrition in there, Deb, because that's something that I wanted to talk to you about, and brain development and science research. Module 2, which we're not doing tonight, but that's what we'll do in the next one, is looking at the principles of brain development, just the fundamental motor skills between 0 and 15 and the cognitive growth between 0 and 15. So I'll set a date for that one in a month or so, just based on how busy you are. If you can't come to it, I think with this program, I can record it and then you can do it in your own time. That's my understanding of why this program's good. So I can at least have one of you in there, talk to one of you, record it, and then send it to all of you to go through and then answer some questions. Module 3 will be your lesson plans. So we'll fix up a few of the problems with your lesson plan sheets. Not that you have, I haven't seen any, but just to make it easier, you know what is easy and what's hard at your end. But I think you're all getting to the stage now where you've got kind of one lesson plan and you're just adding little bits in to keep modifying it. And that's where we should be at. So just have one plan and you've got your way of running it, and then you just add a new concept in every time. So it shouldn't be getting any harder. It should be getting easier. And then when you swap age groups, you basically tailor the activities back down to match the fundamental motor skills and the cognitive skills of the age group that you're running. Risk management. So we're going to go through a few of the risk management problems that we've come up with in Deception Bay, but even here, like some of the risk management I've had just starting up as a new person here, I've had a mum come in and yell at me because she didn't understand something, and I've had toilet issues. So just the same things we've run into all over the place. So that'll all be in that module. With a real focus on emotional management. So that's what emotional risk management is, what I'm finding with parents, and something that might be good, a lot of good activities and strategies in there that childcare might be able to use. So that might be one part of that module that the childcare centres might be really interested in, to show their parents with some of the behavioural management issues that might come through childcare centres. Just send me a thumbs up if you can still hear me, because I'm just watching the phone. Or send me a yep, just so you haven't dropped out. Feel like a real fool if I'm talking to myself here. Still there? I'll keep going just in case you are. So module 5 will just be the effectiveness of evaluating all your lesson plans, immediate, intermediate and long term. Reporting your results, staying up to date with developments in the Fiteracy area, and also professional development updates. So everything's starting to change again in childhood learning. So yeah, we just need to keep promoting and evaluating some of the data that we've come through. Oh, good. Kat's still there. Deb's still there. Good. So yeah, with just in conjunction with Dad and his team, that's where we can really stay up to date with what is the latest research in literacy and what is not worth publishing based on what the government is pushing at that moment, because we don't want to isolate or ostracize any of you, because sometimes when the that's you got a chat box in there. Hang on, Deb, I'll have a look at the chat box. I've got to get back there. Just looking at the chat box, Deb. It hasn't come through yet, Deb. I hope I'm looking at the right one. Just quickly looking. Hasn't come through yet, Deb. So I'll have another look in a minute, Deb, and come back to it if that's all right. So it should be back up again now. I'll have a look at that in a minute, Deb, if that's all right, and come back. So just give me 5 minutes and I'll go back through and answer that question. We'll come back to it. So that's basically what we just went through, is the outline of what Fiteracy is about. So that's the bigger picture, how we're going to deliver it. Way down below cats. Hang on, have a little look. I wish I could hear you. I don't know why I can't hear. Must be something I've pressed. Oh, cool. I was looking at the wrong end of the box. Hang on. Yep, I'm getting all Kat's messages now. So, Deb, are you wanting childcare staff to be using Fiteracy templates to in their work? How do they fit it with their new? No, that's not. I don't think don't make them do anything outside what they're normally doing. They're way too busy. So I think we just let them know that we're out there. But on the outside, we have the templates and you got that now? Can you hear me, Deb? The templates and collecting the lesson plans are more for us to evaluate as a group what's getting delivered and the risk management around it and make sure people are delivering the right messages. Childcare, they've already got their own way of doing it, but we might have a questionnaire developed in conjunction with them and Rowena about how they might be able to collect some data on the effectiveness of what they're already doing. Can you hear me? Did that make sense? But yeah, definitely when you go see childcare, we're definitely not getting them to do anything extra than what they already do. So we just want them to be aware that what we're doing, and if they have data that they want to feed into our community and they support the principles, that we can promote the ideas together. So yeah, no more work for childcare workers. They're so flat out. We just basically want to say, hey, look, they're doing the right thing too, and be able to highlight what they're doing. I think the evaluation data, the most important evaluation data, will be collecting supported referrals maybe from childcare to you guys, and you being able to provide activities to them. So if they're using some of your ideas, that'd be good. If then they're sending people to your play groups, then that's probably as deep as the data there needs to go. And from there, if they get on some of the chat rooms and some of the Facebook pages or the LinkedIn pages, they might be able to provide quality of data on, just stories that they used one of Deb's activities and one of Kat's activities and it resulted in this. So yeah, don't make them do anything else. All right, so I'll go back. If that made sense, Deb, just give me a thumbs up. Yep. So yeah, no, don't go in and do anything. Don't make them do anything. Just make them aware of you, and let them know that they can use some of your ideas if you want, and that you're out there to support it on the outside. So I'll go back to the desktop now. How do I get back there? Come on. Just trying to get back to the next slide. So we'll only be, say, 20 minutes, so you can get back to your family then. And then I can talk to you more outside of there. Get off there. Get onto there. Deb just got your message. Does any of their training that support the 4 principles? Only some of the concepts of the early years learning framework does. So that document we had before where it showed early years learning principles or framework, because we can't actually really use early years learning framework in anything without their permission. But things they do supporting the early years learning framework actually corresponds really well with Fiteracy, but Fiteracy is a lot easier, I think, and a lot more strategy based on the ground rather than a big strategy, develop 3 levels up, down, and filtering down. By the time the early years framework actually gets to the bottom where it's getting delivered, I think it gets a little bit lost because people get frustrated with it. But that'd be a good question if that's what you're going in for on Monday, is just to say, look, how do you guys already support it? Make them the experts teaching you. That's how you're going to get them on board. So you tell them what you're doing and say, hey, look, we really want to see how you're supporting, what you're doing, because then we can tell our parents that you already do it in class. But I think with having some of these video clips and stuff that we're starting to put in the second module here, it just gives them a little bit of a fun way to learn more activities and more explanations of how they're doing things. So the 4 principles of engagement, 4 principles of Fiteracy are a lot easier to grab hold of than that massive early years learning framework document. And when you compare the 2 of them together, there's lots of crossovers, but early years learning framework is really complex. And that's what's happening. They're making it all very complex again for childcare workers instead of just making it simple. We want to simplify it down for them, so that's the main aim. I'm just trying to go back into the share program here. Is it back up again? Can you see that back up again now? Is it the slide back up? Here we go. Now I know what I'm doing. Silly Billy. All right, so I'm going to quickly take you to the next slide, and then I will take you out of the concepts of print and then take you over to the web page with Kathy Walker's things on it. So we'll only be 15 minutes. Let little Neve know we're only 15 minutes, Charmy and Neve, because I'll talk to you before Monday, just on email, or on Friday if you've got any questions. Just make Monday as relaxed as possible. So it's not, you want them to think you think they're the experts, and you just want to create those referral pathways in something in common. All right, so I'm going to come back here now to this one, go back to here. Yep, just trying to find where to open it again. So just be a minute. Open. Sorry, I'm a bit slow with this. Here we go. Does that say module 1? It should be the presentation with the old logo on it. So I've got to go through and take all these logos off. Give me a thumbs up if you can see module 1, Introduction to Fiteracy. Yeah. Cool. It's probably in the chat box. You've said hi. I've got to learn how to view the chat box and my desktop at the same time. That's what I've got to learn how to do. So I'm actually not being able to flick to chat box at the moment. But once I get used to this program, I'll flick it over. So I'll just quickly go through this so I'm not holding you up too much. Oh, cool. 2 thumbs up. Awesome. All right. So the knowledge and the outcomes of this first module have an increase of understanding of where Fiteracy was developed, research that supports the development of Fiteracy, 4 principles of engagement. Oops, go back to there. So it's really just letting people know that the Fiteracy principles come from 50 odd years of research between Dad and all his colleagues, and that there's a whole lot of research behind it. There's books written, there's Dad presents overseas, and that you guys are now collecting the data in the health area. So your data will start to come through in these presentations as well. And then just to finish off with, in this module, we're going to look at the principles of engagement. So remember, you've got 4 principles of Fiteracy and you got 4 principles of engagement. Only this time in the childcare centres talk about the 4 principles of Fiteracy. And even in your first session, just the two. So just Deb talk about the first two. You want them to know that you are coming from a research background supported by Professor Brian Camborne, and that we're creating a community, and we're creating evaluation frameworks. You can't see that yet, Kat? No. I'll keep going. It should come up, Kat, because I know Deb can see it. Yep, cool. All right. So this one we have little brain breaks in it. Sorry, just noticed a spelling mistake in YouTube. So we're going to go back and fix that. Brain breaks in these presentations are about just going and finding engaging ways to apply these principles. So an example of a brain break is that little boy doing Dancing the Jive. So these are the sort of things that I want the childcare workers to know, that in these webinars they can come across and witness real life learning in some of these brain breaks, and they can create a discussion about it, they can comment on it, and we can start to understand the four principles of Fiteracy in real life learning. Sorry, that wasn't my bottom, that was the Swiss ball I'm sitting on, just rubbed. So yeah, the brain breaks is probably the difference between Fiteracy and learning the early years learning framework in big, massive rooms full of 50 childcare workers where people are tired. And I think you guys, through your investigating, if you find YouTube clips and you find examples which you have been doing and you've been sharing on our Fiteracy facilitator closed group, they're the sort of things we want to invite childcare workers to go and find and put up there, so they're becoming part of the development of it, not just people sitting at the end getting fed information. Research reminders are lists of current or interesting research updated every 3 months to encourage Fiteracy facilitators to stay up to date with current information. So everybody can contribute to that. So that's what we want them to feed in on those closed group pages. As people grow in, as the group grows and they grow in confidence. So just exactly what you guys are doing. You're finding the research, you're sending it to me, we're sharing it. Jo's there, she's really updated on it. The more of us are doing it, the more we're growing it together. So why was Fiteracy created? It was created to provide parents, carers and staff working with children with a teaching framework that can be supported in educational centres and the home environment. So you guys are the home environment, these guys are the educational centres, but you are the ones that will teach them how to connect at home. So this is why we need a education centre to come through. I know there's some positive feedback in the education centres I went to in Caloundra when I was up there. So once we get a few on board, we'll get a couple on board. Just got to, as I said before, we just got to kind of break free from this project a little bit and become more independent. Doesn't mean that you won't get funded in the project, but it won't be me having to do all the negotiating at the top. I'll be a bit of a freer entity from belonging to Boys Down. The Fiteracy teaching framework was developed by bringing together theories used in both health and education sectors. So Dad's research, my research into family behaviour and physical activity. Deb's research will be in there, so if you're happy to present some slides on some joint webinars, and we'll put Kids Dig Food on those webinars, just let me know, so you can be as involved or not involved as you want, Deb, but the door is open there because I don't cover the nutrition area at all. So the aim of the Fiteracy programs, hey, look at that family up there, look at all those kiddies. The aim of implementing a program that uses Fiteracy is to allow families of all cultures and backgrounds the opportunity to learn about health through talking, reading, drawing, and participating in healthy activities. Thanks, Kat, I just saw that. To promote the long-term health through the benefits of not just participating in physical activity, but through the promotion of social connection and talking and communicating about healthy activities. So being able to bring back the idea that learning about health isn't just for sports programs and, soccer programs, and because that's kind of what is the push is going to come through again. They're still saying that we don't have enough physical activity programs for children, whereas what we're really trying to say is that we need to educate kids on wanting to be physically active, not just going to do physical activity. They want to learn it, they want to talk about it, they have someone to go back who wants to listen to them, that sort of thing. And as I mentioned to Kat once before, I'm actually just applying Fiteracy now into the over 80s and 90s areas, and it's working even better in the older age groups than it is in the younger age groups. So there's that possibility that we can take Fiteracy through the ages as well. So that with all the data and research you guys have started to do in 0 to 5s, it's so much easier to apply at the other end of the age scale as well. And you understand brain development, so you understand brain maintenance now. So don't just think you'll be locked into kids programs for health. This will be something that we can take to all ages, which is why I got the logo changed to take away the kind of kid feel to it. What makes us unique? Oh, that pretty special person there on the picture there, little Ella and the cat. Fiteracy programs focus on allowing parents and children to learn through a medium that does not make them anxious. All people learn differently. Fiteracy programs cater for individual learning styles whilst also focusing on reducing anxiety. And learning is more likely to occur if anxiety is reduced, and that learning can occur naturally. So I'm just doing this exactly with my Parkinson's patients at the moment and their partners. So instead of having parents and children, I've got clients and partners, or participants and partners, and it's just the same thing. Reducing the anxiety in the partner allows the client or patient to learn better. So you guys are reducing the anxiety in the parent for the kid to learn, have more effective learning. Most complex learning happens naturally. So the best example that illustrates how the human brain is able to learn complex tasks naturally is highlighting how humans learn to talk. So if someone says in your childcare group, how do we know this works? Where's it come from? Just reiterate that Professor Brian Camborne's research is all based on how children learn how to speak. So the evidence is the fact that people learn how to speak. And they learn how to speak through watching their parents, being given a low anxiety learning environment, using a strength-based approach, and using all different forms of communication to solidify their speech and their communication. So it's one of those questions that people will ask: how does it work? What's the evidence base? Well, the evidence base is there in all dad's research, which is 50 years, many world conferences, and also in the fact that we learnt to speak, and now we are the little ground soldiers using that to show how it works in health. So just touching on that, one of the things we want to do is keep spreading your work over to Dad's Conditions of Learning Facebook page. So if you find something in your own program, so from your Mermaid page or from your Kids Dig Food page that is supporting any of Dad's theories, just inbox me a message on Facebook, and then I'll share it up to Dad's page. I think he's got over 250 now. It's not many, I know, but they're all people from overseas on the other side of the world on his Facebook page, and they're all starting to look at what you guys do, and they're starting to make comments. And there's a couple of school principals on there, and the more little evidence that we've got, little stories, all those sort of things that you've got coming through, I'll share up there as well. So just inbox it. Don't share it onto his page. Just inbox it to me and I'll share it because I'm the administrator of his page. And then he'll start to make comments on it. He is an old man, so he's just learning how to use this stuff properly. But he's starting to get really excited about what you guys are doing. So, yeah, share it over to me. We'll share it. And it's a good way to get your brands out there. So, yeah, even the other day I met 5 teachers who came into a presentation I was doing on Brain Fit, which is my adult business, and Fiteracy, and in that group were 5 teachers who either they have Parkinson's or their partner has Parkinson's disease, and it's like a light lit up in their head. They kind of got what Dad's been doing with children is exactly what they should do with adults and their partners now. Reduce the anxiety, because the symptoms of Parkinson's and many of our other health diseases are exacerbated by stress and anxiety. So, yeah, I've gone off on a bit there, but yeah, there's people there starting to look at Fiteracy and health in older adults as well. So, and these 5 teachers in the group just went, wow, we didn't know that we should be doing that. So they've all come over to his group. They're all teachers, and the message is just starting to spread. So this little learning through demonstrations, I'm not sure if it will work if I press on this. I'll just try it, but that's the little fella doing his dance. So these are the sort of things. Hey, just wait for this ad to go past. Anyway, if you wanted to go on a holiday, there's an ad. Let me know if you can see this. So just give me a thumbs up if you can hear that. Did that come through, the little man jiving? I'm not sure if that came through for you. If it did come through, just give me a little thumbs up. But they're the sort of little real life examples that we want to try and collect and start to share around. And even if you've got your own of you and Charmy, the one of you and Neve reading, which if we get it, which was a great one. Deb with Neve reading, but she's sitting there in her undies. But wow, I showed Dad that. He was so impressed with Neve's reading back then. So it's good that came through, that little. Oh, video didn't come through, bugger. All right, so I won't put that up again. Anyway, it's a little guy jiving that will, I'll figure out how to put that on better next time. All right, how did I get from there to there now? I'm just going to go back to here. So you can still see the presentation though. The presentation's still there because I'll keep sliding through that. You edited the undie bits out, cool. Because I'd love to use that, but I'll check with you before we use it. Oh, and the food adventure video, yep, I'll send that through too. So anything you find that you want published, just inbox me it on Facebook or email me it, and I'll put it on that share page of Dad's. And also just start to create a page on the Fiteracy webpage with all your stuff as well. Can see the Prezi, good. All right, brain break. So there's a whole list of little videos there. We'll keep adding if you find videos that can go into those brain breaks, because that's what, even if the childcare workers just get on for half an hour online, once a month and do a brain break with us. They're the sort of things. I'll check all that with Rowena before you go in, just to see how open she is to it. But she's really keen to get them connected with the community. So in those brain breaks that had come up, the question was, were they instructed or provided formal tutorials and lesson plans? And what you'll find is that they were not instructed. The drummer boy, that's a great little film clip. So, and the little dancing girl, I'll just see if, yep. I'll let you guys go and look at those film clips. Have a look at those film clips when you can. So they're saved in the, yeah, send me those YouTube links. That'd be great, Deb. I won't go into those because I'm conscious that we're running out of time. So, but you have a look at those, and the more little examples we find of kids that just learnt something purely not through these formally designed lesson plans all the time, the more we're starting to support parent inclusive learning and learning through demonstration. I'll just whip through this. You don't need to go through this much. It's more for those people that don't know me. Don't know me, can't talk. So that's just my background. The common factor in all the programs that I ran, so all these ones, Walk to School, Around Australia, was Fiteracy. So, and now I'm actually using it in allied health networking, and also using it in Parkinson's. So it's just engagement. Can't hear me? Can you hear me, Kat? I'll keep going, Kat. If you can't, there's only 10 minutes to go. So if you can't hear me, I think you might be talking about the film clip you couldn't hear. Common themes that run throughout all the programs were from observing families and children during the formative years as an exercise physiologist. Oh, you couldn't hear the video. Sorry, Kat. The following observations were made and recognised as a high priority for child health. Social inclusion, start as early as possible, whole of family approach. So that is what your play groups do. How does Fiteracy bring the paradigms of mental health protection and physical health development together in parent inclusive sessions? So mental health protection was a word that I have got from this new program called Partners in Recovery, who have a mental health language booklet. So you'll find I'll start to add some of the mental health language, recovery language in there. So we're actually helping people with language around anxiety and mental health. I've got a bit more reading to do on it, but mental health protection was one thing that I picked up from that. So how we're trying to bring health and fitness and mental health together. You don't really need to go into this in your Monday group, but that's just a background there for you. Is that our training encourages the development of parent-inclusive activities that promote health as a whole of family approach to increase the likelihood of health messages reaching the home. And also we encourage low anxiety, strength-based learning that promote bonding and social inclusion. So I've actually had 3 or 4 new referrals down here just for post-traumatic stress. And I've just used Fiteracy with them for 8 weeks. And this one guy's gone back to work after just being focused on his strengths, you know, rather than his weakness, why he wasn't at work. And just providing low anxiety learning for him all the time, and he's just blossomed. So if it works in adults, it'll work in, if it works in post-traumatic stress, older men, it should work in parents as well. Fiteracy facilitators learn how to create health and physical activity programs using sound theories and research as a foundation. So we've got DADS theories, we've got research into attachment theory, early learning theories, brain development science, so the whole background of brain plasticity, and reducing stress around brain growth. We've got strengths-based learning theories. We've got so many connecting sound-based theories wrapped up in one program. Whereas I think if you looked at some of the theories in the early years learning framework, and don't mention this in your sessions because they'll come to the realization themselves, is that they're probably more focused on the blue area there, attachment theory and early learning. But there's all these other theories, brain development, strength-based learning, anxiety and learning in parents that really need to come into play. And that's where I think, yeah, I can send them for you. That's where I think you will be able to teach them, not in that first session with them, but you'll be able to start to let them know that you know how to reduce anxiety in parents so they can learn. The video links, Kat, are inside the presentation, which I'll resend to you, but it's in Dropbox under Fiteracy modules. So the video links are in there if you need them. One of the biggest, this is probably a really good article to take in as a handout. It might be a little bit complex for some of the childcare workers, but in saying that, I don't know. This is Harvard research based on the fact that we need to look after our childcare workers, basically, because if we look after our childcare workers and help them, then we can help the people, the parents, the children that hang out with them. So I'll give this Shonkoff article to Rowena when I speak to her, and just let her know that you have read it, and that that's the kind of background that we're coming from. probably don't go in it on Monday, but if we have 3 sessions with each childcare centre, by say the end of the second one, beginning of the third one, you can probably come back and touch on that article. But I'd certainly let them know that you've read strategies from Harvard based on strengthening the impacts of early education, based on looking after the people that look after children. So that's parents and childcare staff. I'll just check with Rowena that you use the terminology educators, not childcare staff, because I think that might be one way to create anxiety. So I'll just check the exact wording of how to address them as well, because they're a bit like working in the allied health field. If I don't address practice managers and practice nurses properly, you kind of cut your legs off before you've started. So we really need to make sure we're addressing the childcare educators by the right terminology. But I'll check with Rowena so that when you go in there, you've got that nailed. So the summary of that article, and I might actually wrap it up there for you tonight. I'm just going to show you the concepts of print, and I'm also going to show you a website from Kathy Walker, and then I'll let you read the rest of it, because you don't need to overload too much here. The rest of the presentation's on the 4 principles and the 4 principles of engagement. So just get yourself updated with it, but especially read this article. The link to the article is at the bottom of that PowerPoint slide. So Shonkoff is a university lecturer who's written articles in education, brain health, etc. So Harvard is one of the most recognised universities in the world. And just let them know that you've read an article by Jack Shonkoff on increasing the confidence and wellness and capacity of childcare workers. Just as your background, that you understand that childcare educators. So Deb said here, just reading your little message here, Deb, you always call them childcare staff educators. Good. So go with that. Go with what Deb's been using, because that works. So basically that article says increase confidence and care of caregivers. So they're our most important people, parents and childcare educators. So you going in there on Monday is finding ways that you can help them, not teach them, not tell them that they're doing the wrong thing, finding ways you can back up what they're doing. You can make them feel more confident in it by saying to your playgroup participants or any of your participants that may come from their childcare centre to your classes that you believe in them, you believe in the childcare worker. Even if they're not doing exactly what you do at the moment, I think by the 3rd session you go in there, they'll start to see that you are trying to support them and you are trying to provide a backup for what they're doing by reiterating their stuff to the parents. So interventions, things that need to happen are interventions that enhance caregivers' confidence, such as childcare staff educators, are put in there, parents and early childhood teachers. So we need to support confidence in caregivers and support the interventions that enhance their capacity. You little ground soldiers in Fiteracy on the ground, are part of increasing their capacity and their confidence. Don't go and say it like that, because they'll think that you think that they need you, but basically you're trying to let them know you're there if they need you for some activities, for some ideas, for just backing up their literacy stuff they're handing out. You also want to increase the capacity and care of carers that assist with providing opportunities to provide powerful sessions for the brain during these care periods, and therefore reducing toxic effects on brain circuitry. So what that means, I could probably word that a little bit differently, is that we want to increase the care and capacity of the parents by providing them with really powerful activities that they can use at home that can override some of the toxic effects of stress. So the childcare staff and educators may have children in there who they know are in a not so good position at that point. And then just providing them with activities that can be taken home, increase the capacity of that parent to provide some activities to reduce the stress while also increasing the learning capacity. I think if the childcare workers felt like they were the person that enabled that parent, then you're on a winner. If you're enabling the childcare worker to enable the parent, that's what you want to do. Your knowledge on parents, how to reduce anxiety in parents, the things that you witness every day, they don't get to witness that because they don't have parents. But okay, I dropped out a bit there, Kat. Basically, your knowledge on parents, helping the childcare workers to understand your strategies you use to help parents. If they can then use them and feel like it was them, it was the childcare educator that did that, then they're going to feel like what they're doing is really good at childcare because they're enabling parents. But they need you to come in and help them enable the parents a bit because they need your on-the-ground knowledge. So does that make sense? Cool. Don't print it out, Kat. I'll print it out at work for you. So don't waste it because it's a lot of pages. Don't print it out. I'll print all these out for you now that I've got access to printers and stuff. So I've just send a message for printing it. So I'm going to leave it there. I want you to, so there's summary of Shonkoff's model, providing practical solutions for carers. Provide practical solutions and ideas for program interventions that are needed. You guys do that every day. So now you're going in, taking those practical solutions into the childcare stuff. Providing information and social marketing is not enough. So just handouts, early years framework handouts, that's social marketing. They're handing out lots of publications. How do they know if it's actually working? We're actually providing activities. Providing programs that support vulnerable parents and educators, that's you. So if the childcare staff see someone in that program in their classes that parent may need a little bit of help, that's a supported referral or a referral through to your playgroup programs. So that's one of the things I want you to be able to walk away with after 3 sessions with these childcare workers, that they know they run into a parent like the one that you've run into, Kat, with the 2 kids with autism, that they can suggest that they come to you to learn some strategies for stress buffering and education. So stress buffering is reducing anxiety and providing opportunities to learn at the same time. So there's a little research reminder there. I'm going to let you read through the rest of that. And that goes on to stress buffering, understanding the principles of engagement, etc. I'm just going to flick over quickly to the concepts of print questionnaire, because I'm going to talk about that with Rowena to see if we can start to use it. And just loading your little messages at the same time. And then we will just leave it there. So I just want Rowena to understand concepts of print and the school readiness stuff. So I'll flick over to here. So this is everyone, can you see that? Should say concepts about print assessment. This is what I'm going to talk to Rowena about, seeing if perhaps one of the sessions we might be able to do next term is you and Deb or you and Kat going into together and running a little activity and then getting the parents to fill out this concepts of print. So there's a whole list of, that's your instructions that I'm flicking through, the purpose, how to deliver it. You guys can start to practice delivering this to your playgroup. And this is what I'm going to talk to Rowena about, to see if we can start to get some baseline data on her kids, on their understanding of what a book or what print language is. So print language is English, Cantonese, however they read. So just trying to, that's what I'm going to talk to Rowena about, seeing if next term we can get a you can see it, Deb, cool. So have a little read through that. I'll resend all this to you, but I'm going to talk to Rowena about it. I use this on, say, Sarah and probably 20 different parents in Fiteracy. And at the beginning of a session, like the beginning of a term, and then at the end, and before they went to school, they were getting the highest score. Like they understood that this concept of print, they actually understood all those little points before they went to school. So that's one form that we'll use because that's backed by research. It's based on a literacy development checklist. So that's one thing we'll do. The other one we'll do is I'm going to flick back again. How do I go back to here? I'm just going to send you a URL right now to see how this works. I'm going to go to chat. Go back to chat here. If I send this in a link, I'm just trying to find where you've gone to. Here we go. See if you can open this link, if this comes through for you. I think I might be able to add it in here. Here we go. I'm going to redirect you all. Here now, redirect you. So it should redirect you to a new tab. Redirect. Done. Did it come up with a school readiness? Should come up with a... Let me know if it's come up with school readiness kid spot. I've just redirected the webinar to a tab. Did it come up with kid spot? Give me a thumbs up if it's come up with a kid spot. I'll actually have a look in the chat as well to see what's happening. Yep, so this kid spot link I've sent you. Come up. So we'll just finish on this. I've just got your text Zencat. That's right, but it's a little bit too deep. You're just going a little bit too deep. So just read out the word, leave out the word existing clusters. Clusters gets too confusing for people, but you're on the right track. Can you see the link to KidSpot? Because we'll just finish there. Let me know if you can see that. Still there, Deb? So I'll just, yeah, I clicked it, but then it dropped out of the webinar. I can't see anything in the chat box now. Oh, bugger. Got to get used to this a bit more. Anyway, I'll send you the link to this kidspot.com. I'll put it back on the Facebook, Fiteracy Facebook page. Basically, and I'll read it out to you now. This is how our school readiness questionnaire will look. Can they make an independent decision and follow through on their decision? So this is the key areas of maturity and development are the social emotional areas. This is what Kathy Walker says. While she's reluctant to have parents tick off a checklist, which is what I don't really want them to do either. I don't want them to go, yes, we can, we can all get up to letter Z, because we're still then just creating measures for people, and then it makes people competitive. So this is the checklist we'll be going with. And I think most educators will probably like it because it's not quantitative or based on numbers. And these are the ones we're going to go with. So I just got to talk to Kathy Walker over the next week and just get her permission to use it. I might have to buy the questionnaire. That's normally how you do it. You buy permission to use the evaluation form. Excuse me. And I also have to, I've got permission to use the concepts of print, but I might just have to purchase it. So it might be $100 or something. So these questions are, so if they ask you in your Monday session, what your school readiness measures are, this is what they're going to be. They're more about, can they make independent decisions and follow through on it? Do they have ideas of their own? Can they follow 2 or 3 instructions at a time? Can they move on to new activities easily? Do they separate well from their carer? Do they show interest in other kids? Do they interact with other children? Can they recognise and express their feelings? Can they concentrate on a task, and how do they deal with frustration? So the combination of that checklist plus the concepts of print is our school readiness. And that lets us be able to allow kids to be kids and not make parents competitive. It also lets people understand that literacy is not about reading one page. It's about understanding how the message we're giving them, it all fits into a understanding. So their understanding of what we're giving them. The concept of print questionnaire is just their understanding of how we use print to communicate. So then they have an understanding of how to use a book. So some people are not going to be able to use, they're not going to be able to use the concepts of print if the kids are autistic, or so there's more going to be about the experts checklist to school readiness. So what I'll do is I will leave you there. So Kat, you go to bed. You go put the kids to bed because you've all been gone for an hour and a half. So thanks for testing out that webinar. I think what I do now is I just press stop, really. But I'll resend you these 2 presentations, plus I'll send you the school readiness checklist, plus I'll send you the concepts of print. Just become familiar with it. What I would do on Monday is maybe just hand out a slide, or just put 2 slides up on the wall, or I'll just ask Rowena if she can print out 5 versions. So don't stress yourself out on printing, because that creates anxiety for us as presenters. Just make it as open discussion as possible. I'll get Rowena all the above information, so all the stuff on Fiteracy, the modules, where Dad comes from, all that background information that I just told you, I'll give that all to them, and you just got to refer to it. So, but you pick your slide, read through the rest of that slides on that module 1 there, pick a slide that you like, and just talk about it. So Deb, if you pick your 2 principles, talk about it. Talk about what activities you use in that, and the fact that we're trying to create a community and we're trying to create some school readiness evaluation based on those principles, rather than just on measurements of numbers, etc. You'll know what to do, but I'll just give you a call on Friday afternoon and have a quick discussion if you want, or just email me. Whatever's easy for you. So email me, let me know if you want me to call. That's probably easier. If you just want to email me, just email me. But I will email you after I've spoken to Rowena on Friday as well. Okay, so I'll press stop here. And I think once I press stop, you all drop out. So just text me if you had any questions after that. If I don't get back to you tonight, I will get back to you on Friday morning, because tomorrow I'm at work all day, and then I've got a first aid course to do tomorrow night, so I'm working all night. And but yeah, that was good. But I'll learn how to use all these fangle dangle links, and then we can put up some pop-ins and polls on the side, the little things, activities we can use. But thanks for coming. Go feed the kiddies, go to bed, and I'm going to go feed myself. I miss you guys. I will see you soon.